Welcome to lecture series on database management system. In today's lecture series, we will see an introduction to ER diagram. So ER diagram is nothing but entity relationship diagram. So before that, we will have a quick recap. So what is data modeling in database management system? So it represents a way in which data model for a given data can be created such that the data can be stored in that particular format in the database. So this is what data modeling is about. So to represent the particular way in which database data can be stored in a database, we have two types of models such as ER model and other one is relational model. In this lecture series, we are going to see about the ER model in under data modeling in database management system. So it contains an initial phase, second phase, and the final phase. So initial phase is used to characterize the data that uh, characterize the data needs of any particular data user. In the second phase, we will choose the appropriate data model for storing the data. In the last phase, from that appropriate data model, we will implement it into the database. So before implementing, we have to decide on the database schema, which is done by logical design. It reduces redundancy and incompleteness of the database. By means of physical design, we can decide on the physical layout for a particular database. So the types of relational model includes three types. One is conceptual data model, representational data model, and last one is physical data model. By means of conceptual data model, it helps in understanding the needs and requirements of a given database. This is similar to the requirement gathering phase of software design. So in software engineering, we would have studied various phases of developing a software. So this conceptual data model is similar to the requirement gathering process. So this requirement gathering process has to be done before choosing any particular database. So the popular conceptual data model is the entity relationship model. So it is a high level data model. Unlike the other data models, ER model is a high level data model. It defines the relationship between a data and a given relationship. It defines the concept of any database, and it is also easier to design the view of a data. So here, ER model contains various components such as entities, attributes, and relationship. These three are the main components used in any ER model. So entity, it is defined as any real world object. The name, place, object, class, all those things that we use in day-to-day life are real world entities, and it is defined as or it is referred to as the entity. So in ER diagram, entity is represented with the help of a rectangular shape. Next comes the attribute. So this attribute is used to define or describe the entity that we have chosen. So attributes in an ER diagram are represented with the help of eclipse. For example, if you take an entity student, let us consider student, which is a real world object. So this can be considered as an entity. So attribute in the sense, attributes are things that is used to describe the entity, which is student here. So any student in a class can be described with the help of his roll number, his name, his age, his marks, his address, and so on. So these are the attributes of the entity, which is used to describe the entity. Next comes relationship. It is used to define the relationship between two different entities or among various entities. So relationship in an ER diagram is represented with the help of diamond shape or rhombus shape. So relational algebra operator contains three types. One is unary operator, second is binary operator, and third one is derived operators. Under unary operator, we have projection operator, selection operator, and rename operator. And under binary operator, we have union operator, cross product or Cartesian product, and set difference. Under derived operators, we have division operator, join operator, and intersection operator. They are used to represent only the relational data model is used to represent only the logical part of the database. They do not have anything to do with the physical structure of the database. That you need to be clear about. So on the contrary, what is physical data model? It is used to practically implement the relational data model. One example is structured query language or SQL. So entity relationship model, it helps in modeling an enterprise as a collection of entities and relationship. So entity is any real world thing or an object. So entities can be described with the help of attribute, and relationship is used to represent the relation or association among several entities. So entire thing, if it is represented diagrammatically, it is called as entity relationship model. So why do we need to use ER model in DBMS? So if you have drawn an ER model for a particular database, we can easily convert it into relations or tables. So for drawing an ER diagram, no technical knowledge is required or no hardware support is required. So anybody without any technical knowledge or hardware support can easily draw an ER diagram and can easily convert it into a relation or a table. So that is why we use ER diagram in DBMS. So here are various symbols that are used in ER model. First one is a rectangular symbol which is used to represent the entities in ER model. Next is ellipse which is used to represent the attributes in ER model. Diamond shape is used to represent relationship between two different entities. Line is used to represent the primary key. Double ellipse represents the given attribute as multi-valued attribute. Similarly, double rectangle represents the given entity is weak entity. It is not a strong entity. So single rectangle represents it's a strong entity, whereas double rectangle represents it is a weak entity. So here, entity is of two types. One is strong entity and other one is weak entity. And when it comes to attribute, there are four type of attributes. One is key attribute, which is primary key or foreign key. Next is composite attribute. Next is composite attribute in the sense. Mm, and multi-valued attributes. For example, one student can have two email IDs. One student can have two mobile numbers. So phone number and email number ID are multi-valued attributes. Derived attributes. If the value of any attribute can be derived from some other attribute, it is derived attribute. For example, uh, age can be derived from the date of birth. So age is a derived attribute. Composite attribute is the sense if you take name, it can be split as first name, second name, and middle name. I mean first name, middle name, and last name. So name is a composite attribute, and relation can be one-to-one relation, one to many, many to one, or many to many. So these are basics of entity relationship diagram with all these things that we have discussed, with all these components we have discussed. So you should be able to draw a AR diagram for any database system which is given. Hope you understood the concept behind ER diagram or ER model. We will see some example for ER model in the next lecture series. Thank you for watching.